Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Still Only 35 Cents. This is the Merry Monday Mailcall Show. A bit of a special one here today. You're probably sick of hearing about Heroes Con from me and pretty much every other YouTuber. So I thought this would put it all to bed. I've got one more video I'm going to be sharing over the next week, which I think you'll enjoy. Has a special guest appearance by Ron Wilson. But I thought I'd go out in a bang on Heroes Con, bring a few friends from the show on. We don't have any comments. Maybe a bit messy today because the setup had to sort of reset everything back up. But we'll see how we go. But let's introduce our guests who have joined. So first we have Digger Jim. Hello, Jim. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's a pleasure, mate. It's a pleasure. We've been talking about it for a while, so this is good. And you may have seen you just starred in my most recent video, albeit briefly.
Yeah, I did. You did that. You panned through all of them.
Every single one. And we'll also add Ben Parker Comics. Welcome. Brand new YouTube channel. Been on Instagram for a while, mate, but did your first proper premiere this week, right?
Yeah. Thank you. What's up, guys?
Good to see you both. We've got a couple of people in the chat. Of course, we have Richard. Great to see you, and thanks. Yeah, well, there's a lot of it out there, a lot of content out there, Richard. So bear with us. It was a great show. We've got Silver Spidey. Greetings to you, and that's it for now. So it's the three of us. I'm just going to try and move this screen. And now, if you see anyone else jump in. Sometimes when this moves, I can't see who's joining, so just bear with me. There we go. Right, now I can look at you. I've got one of these screens, so you can see it's a tiny screen, but you can actually see the camera as well as as well as the screen. So this is the usual stuff. Who else? We do have someone else.
Boggs, yes.
Yeah, sorry. At work, be there if not working. No stress. Catch us when it goes live. Well, not live. Is it live or just on the main stream? So I'm assuming you both have a drink. Excellent. Mine's coffee. I'm assuming yours is a little stronger, but hopefully.
Yeah. Straight water.
Sunday afternoon there, right?
Yeah.
It is. I had a Bloody Mary for breakfast, but
excellent.
I'm on a little water now.
That's good. So I'm assuming you both know the structure of the show. You're going to have to show off some of your haul.
I got it right here.
And some of the books that you've had through the week. I've got some of the haul from which some people have already seen because I did the live show last week. But then I've also got a couple of books as well that came in this week. So no rules, just show what you've got. We'll have a little bit of story. Who we got? More in the chat. Side Quest Comics. I think I would spend too much money at that con from what I've been seeing. All the videos popping up. Yes, I've never seen so many dealers. What about you guys?
It's the most dealers. I mean, Baltimore has a lot, but it's. I mean, you've been to Baltimore, Dave. They have a lot, but to me, it's just. There's just more volume there, and there's more space.
Yeah. I've never seen so many dealers in one place. Baltimore's good. You're right.
From what I understand, also Heroes Con, it's the only con I've been to since I was a kid. But the other conventions, I like the vendors, even the same vendors I think that are at Heroes Con, like aren't as willing to haggle. But for some reason, I've heard other people say Heroes Con is like the mecca of getting day 3 deals on day 1. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's because they've got 6,000 of them there, and they know they got to set. You know, you've got to be willing to play the game, or you're just gonna. Are you gonna spend all that money to sit there? Come on.
Exactly. Yep.
They know what they got to do.
I love it.
Yep. We've also got Durs in. I think he's actually live streaming as we talked. He was going to try and come on, but he's obviously got his stream at the same time. So
sure.
No,
we'll see how we go.
He moved his stream up.
He did.
Yeah, he was finishing in his stream so that it wouldn't impact your time.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
about
okay.
you. That was really cool of him.
Yeah, I just finished watching the tail end of it.
Do you know what's funny? I actually moved mine forward an hour to give us more time to chat because I thought normally it's an hour later than this.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is the new time, or not the new time, but it'll be the new time for this one. Let me turn all this off. So we've got Lettuce in the house too. Hello, how good to see you. That's a new YouTube channel. If no
Right.
one's seen Lettuce Comics already, get out there and subscribe to Lettuce.
I just watched his video. He picked up a decent book himself, one of his big boy books.
Yep.
I will have to go on and have a look. So, all right, who wants to get us kicked off? Like, I'm lucky enough to have seen some of the books, but who wants to have a go first? Because I've already shown a number of mine, but I'll just pick up after.
I'll show you. I'll show some stuff.
Let me see if I can make you big.
If you watched, what did I do with it? If you watched your video, then you know some of the things that I bought because you posted one of them.
I'm trying to work out. I never get this working.
So you just move me into the main screen. So you have to put you two on the side.
Let's try that then.
There should be a big screen and two little icons on StreamYard for that.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Okay, so now move me where you are. Just pick me up, hold it, and click it and move it over.
Yeah. This is fantastic. I'm actually learning at the same time.
Oh,
like that.
How do you do it?
Yeah, you just hold the button. You just hold the mouse and move the person over.
Oh, okay. Well, that now makes so much sense. See, I've been doing this for like 15 shows and I hadn't worked that out.
So I got that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I must have shown you. What did I show you? I think I showed you the. I showed you that. Maybe.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
So that was on my list.
Nice.
This was not on my list, but he had it. I mean, I couldn't walk away from it. It's a book that I wanted. So I got a couple of books that are on my list and ones that weren't. This was going to be on my list no matter what. You know, this was the whole reprint debacle. So I got it, you know, and I didn't care about the grade being super high. I just wanted a nice clean copy, and that's that. I saw this one and I couldn't just walk away because they only wanted $25 for it. And I was like, I know it's a 90s book, but you know, when you see stuff like that, it's like, you know, it's nice, it's shiny, it's foily. I didn't buy a whole lot of stuff, to be honest with you guys. Mine was this con was more about quality over quantity. So this was the piece that Izzy did for me.
So awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You did that live at the show, or was that?
No, I sent him money before the con, like a few days before the con, and I said, "Do you have a Fantastic Four blank?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Put Doom on it," and he's like, "Okay," and he said, "I'll have it for you at Heroes Con." I didn't expect it to be this detailed. I'm super happy it is.
That's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, look at that crackle, man.
Yeah,
that's
really good.
That's insane. So then I had plans, you know, I bought blanks and I said, these are the artists I'm going to use. I wanted Joe Stanton, because he's not going to be around forever. Yeah. And so I got him to put a Space Ghost on there.
That's lovely. I like that one.
Yeah, he put a nice Space Ghost on there. I knew it was within a realm of what he could do. This is probably the biggest score, if you want to call it like score. I went to see Daryl Banks and on Friday, and he was like, "Look, I'm booked up. Come tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay." So first thing Saturday morning, I went over there, and I said, "Do you think you'll have enough time to do a head sketch?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, let me pay you now." And he said, "No, just pay me when you get it." And I was like, "Okay, how much?" Well, there was this, I don't know, there was somebody back and behind me just making all kind of noise. I thought he said $60. And I was like, okay. So in my brain, I'm thinking, all right, I need to put $60 aside for this. But when I got there, $40.
Wow.
Look at that.
Jeez, man.
$40.
Wow.
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
That's-
That's just phenomenal. And I
Oh, yeah,
mean, this is the guy that drew Green Lantern. I mean, Kyle Rayner. You know, I mean, he's the artist for it. So
Yeah.
My question on those books, like, so you've got a couple of good sketches there, right, on sketch covers. Do you ever toy with? Because in my instance, I generally submit them, and I've got some to show later, where I'll just get them. I'll get them graded and just get them slabbed for posterity. Is that your preference, not to have them slabbed?
yeah, I mean, if I was going to do that, I'd probably do it like Rob does. I don't think that this is a grading book.
Right.
I think this is and I don't want a grade on it because you know what? You might say this is a 9.4, and I'm going to tell you, I don't care. It's a 9.8 to me because it's personal to me. So if I was going to do it, I'd do it like Rob did and send it to CBCS and just make it art.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Does CGC do art?
So they do art, but they don't do it. I believe not for comics. So to your point, you get a grade, but I don't. I mean, I've got.
Yeah.
one.
See, I don't care about a grade. I would just send it to CBCS, and CBCS just titles it art because that's what it is. You know, art is to me. This isn't about the grade of the book. There's no value. Like, this is just a reprint. Okay, this is not the original.
You got it for the art,
but I got it to
put on it.
Right. I mean, you know,
yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I just can't. Maybe Izzy's I might send to CGC just to see what they do out of curiosity, but not the other ones. But so then right across from Daryl Banks was another artist named Tom Wynn, and so I gave him this ghost spider, and man, I don't even know how to describe it. He just absolutely killed it.
Oh, that's good too.
I mean, look at the detail on that webbing, man. I mean, he just killed it. And I was fortunate enough. He was in the on the plane with us, going back to flying back into Baltimore. He was switching over to another plane, so he sat with us, and he did a lot of work while he was on the plane. He's like, I'm trying to meet a deadline. It's for, you know, I'm not supposed to talk about it because I have an NDA thing, but I mean, you can't even tell what this is. And I'm like, is it for TV? And he's like, yeah. I said, I don't watch TV. I mean, I don't even know what's on TV today. If it's not on Netflix or Amazon or something like that, the only television I watch is British Premier League soccer. I have no idea what's on the television. So he showed us, and it makes sense to me. It's some game show BS that I don't even know about. The last one was I don't know why I didn't take that off. The last one was a you know, they don't have a Voltron blank, or if they do, I don't know where they are. But there was a guy that's been there the last 2 years, and I bought prints off of him of Voltron, and I said, you know, this year I'm going to have him do a sketch because he's really good. But I gave it to him really late, and I was almost worried that he wasn't going to get it done. But he did a good job. He knocked it out pretty good.
Man,
you see a Transformer blank with Voltron on it.
That's
cool.
I mean, I thought he did great.
Probably a one of a kind.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, but this is the kind of stuff that Remy would be like, oh yeah, I gotta have that, because Remy's all about the weird stuff. And then this was the you know, at the auction there was that one piece, that Debbie Harry piece. My wife really wanted it, and she bid, but it got to a point where she's like, all right, I've reached my limit. I'm not going to go any higher. I don't think it's worth any more than that. And I said, don't worry, we'll go find the artist. So she did. On Sunday, she went with me to the con, and we found this guy. His name is Rico. And yeah, he had a book like this where it's Debbie Harry, and then Spider Gwen in her T-shirt with the Debbie Harry face.
That's great.
Right.
So she would like that weird stuff like that, and
Cool.
so, and then real quick, I'll show you these two things. I got the first trade of Philadelphia. I'm just gonna read it. I want to see if it's any good, and if it is, maybe I'll run to Baltimore on Saturday for when they have the con, and I'll get a couple more from Rodney. He was really cool. And then we went by the Comicsburg. Chris the Comic Vet was with me. We went by the Comicsburg group. They're an indie group up in Pittsburgh, not far from me. And we got Marvin Wynn's The Edge. It's like a whole pack of them. And so I get to read the whole thing. I'm hoping to have him on after I read it, maybe to talk about it.
Nice.
And then Heroinberg, the guy was right next to him, and I said, I'll buy your pack too. So that's really it. Everything else was just, hanging out with you guys.
And there we go, Marvin Wynn, The Edge.
Yeah, see, Marvin knows what's up.
That's
So I'm gonna read his stuff, and then we'll have him on my channel, and we'll shoot it about it.
That's awesome. Now, how do I get us back to normal now? I do.
Are you ready for yourself? You just hold yourself no, don't do that one. Do the other one. The other one's better. Yeah, that's great. Do
that one's better. Yeah.
That window tier stuff drives me nuts.
Jim teaching me how to use StreamYards. That's really good.
Yeah.
Ben, did you want to go next? Or I've got a few things I've actually got some photos to share, actually.
Yeah, sure. You go ahead. I'm cool to chill, man.
Let me
It's
share.
your stream, buddy. You do it.
That's right.
Okay, let me see if I can find these things. This is it. All right. So I've been going through the content and working out if I was going to do split it up into days. I'm probably only going to do 2 videos. I'll check my footage for the auction. It's all in portrait. Portrait mode. Mm-hmm. So I'm debating whether or not I do that video. But there's day 2, which was for me all about getting the creators. So it's funny, Jim, that you mentioned around the creators and getting creators all stuff. All these photos you're about to see are basically my day 2, where I just didn't focus on comic books, just focused purely on getting these artists and books signed.
Yeah.
Now let me bring it up.
I did get some books signed, but I didn't throw that in the thing.
So let's kick off with this is actually on end of day 1.
Mm.
So this is Alan Davis. I'm a big fan of Alan Davis. So he was doing sketches. So he'd have his line capped at say 10 per day. And on this day, I managed to get the last one. So I had to queue for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think. This is the sketch that I showed off one of them with the sketch that I had, which was Betsy Braddock. This is the sketch of the guy before me. So it's a Nightcrawler sketch. And yeah, it was just really good meeting Alan. I'd met him last year at Heroes, and we had a really good conversation. Again, he recognized I was originally English straight away. But yeah, it was just really good catching up with him. I'm now on his commission list. He's got a bigger commission list.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look to get I think it's just a huge art piece with what he's doing now. He used to do just pencils. Now he's actually inking his own work.
Nice.
Nice.
So I'll get one of those when that finally comes up. It should take about a year for the wait list to go through. But yeah, that was the first one. We've got Izzy in the room as well, so just bring him up. Good to see you, mate. Great show. Next up, if this works, let's just switch through. That's a sign. Jim Starlin, got him to sign this DC Comics Presents 26. So this was already a 9/6 signed by George Perez. And I was like, I'm trying to get him, trying to get Jim Starlin and Marv Wolfman on top of this. So you get a triple sign book. So I've got 2 of the 3 now. So I'm super happy with that. Jim was really good. Like a few years back, I've had stuff signed with Jim before.
Right.
And his line is always quite busy, but this year it wasn't. It was actually quite you could just literally rock up, get something signed, and go. So it was really nice. None of the cues like John Romita Jr. or Chris Claremont.
Right.
It was purely in and out.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, super nice guy. And you can see here in the photo, right? Like he was more than happy to take a photo. Asked about the book when it came in front of him. He saw that it was signed by George Perez and was like, this is. He complained about George's placement because it was over a piece of text, so he couldn't see it as clearly as he'd like. So he just signed just beneath the trade dress.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben, what was that?
No, he was just agreeing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just really good. Again, super nice guy.
Yeah.
The other one that surprised me was Larry Hammer, and I got 2 of these signed, and he was fantastic. He's like, I mean, you can see here, he's just laughing and just having lots of fun and complaining about how expensive that book was. But yeah, signed those. Really happy with that. And I've actually got detailed shots of each of these as they were submitted as well, so you can get a better look towards the end. Al Milgram, my perennial favorite. I love Al. We had a great conversation. He's just one of the best in my mind.
I will talk now. I've talked to him at Baltimore for a bit. One time.
He's so good. He's so good. And I explained to him last time I called up with him, he asked about this guy called Jared Buttery. If I knew him, because he was an Australian who'd come over for a con a few years back. And I tracked this guy down. And so part of my goal this time around was to tell Al that I actually found him. So we had a nice conversation about Jared Buttery. He actually read my entire Facebook Messenger stream with Jared Buttery and was just reading through how we were talking about Al. So that was an interesting one. He grabbed my phone and started reading it, which was bizarre. But yeah, it was good. So I got Secret Wars 2, number 5, first Boom Boom signed.
Yeah.
And then Spectacular Spider-Man 100, which from Al's recollection is only one of 2 covers he did with the Spot. So I thought that would be a good one to get signed. This one, I don't know if many of you have seen this. So this is a guy called Mike Henderson. He did Old Man Logan, Nailbiter. I'm a huge fan of his work. I've got a number of commissions. I'm also going through, I've got a whole bunch of these sort of facsimile blank covers of like X-Men 1, Hulk 1, AF-15. And I just grabbed my AS-15 blank and just said, look, Mike, can you do, I spoke to him before the actual con, and we arranged that I'd get there first thing in the morning and drop this off on the Friday. And he would then do this cover of a recreation of Amazing Fantasy 15 with a little twist. So I picked that up Tuesday morning. He did a fantastic job. You can't really see it here, but I'll show you a bit more detail in a minute. But you can see it's got the original pose, but it's just got Green Goblin on the left-hand side a little bit. But picked that up from him.
Wow.
Then I got all of my ElfQuest books signed by Richard and Wendy Peeney. They were fantastic. It wasn't cheap, but it was absolutely worth it. So I've got the full run of ElfQuest now, signed by both of them across the whole run.
Yeah, and you had a stack when you were showing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all signed. They're not submitted to CGC. The 1 to 21 are not submitted to CGC, but the Fantasy Quarterly got submitted in because that's the big book.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Maguire signed my Justice League 5.
Right on.
No particular. Go on.
No, I'm just listening.
Yeah, no particular value on this one. So notable this issue is because it's the issue where Batman knocks out Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever read it. So I had to have it. So I just thought that one's a classic one. Kevin was a little bit, he's an interesting character. He's very English. He's very dry. Conversation wasn't as flowing as it was with the others. So, but still good to get that. A couple of those. Then I got Star Slayer 2, notable because it's the first Rocketeer signed by Mike Grell, because he did obviously the front strip, the Star Slayer strip. I've just ordered Star Slayer 1 as well, so That was I want to try and I'm going to try and get that whole run. There's not that many in there. I think there's like 5 issues, and then it technically switches to Rocketeer. Actually, I think in the second, I think it's the 4th issue. And then this is that cover.
Oh, nice.
Mike Henderson did. So that went in. These are all the CGC books now, so you'll be able to see the signatures in detail. This is that commission that he did. It's just absolutely amazing in my eyes.
That's beautiful. Yeah, really nice.
Even the guy that was doing the submitting said he'd seen all of the sketches that had come in, and he was going, "This is the best one I've seen all weekend."
Wow.
Because it just blew my mind how he did it. I'm toying with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of it when it comes back in, and I'm going to color it. I think get someone to color it. So I'll have another piece of this, but this one's going to get slabbed as is. But I just thought that was such a good, you can see if you close off the left-hand cover, it still looks like the original cover, but adding the Green Goblin on it, I just felt was like just the right mix to it.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's more Jim Starlin, I think. Oh, no, there we go. So then I got to meet Jim Shooter as well. So he also signed Secret Wars 2 number 5. So sat down with him again, regaled me stories about Chris Claremont and mutants. And said that the greatest honor he got was that Chris actually took one of his characters and put it into his comic book. So apparently Chris felt or feels he has the monopoly on mutants. So that was an interesting story from Jim when we sat down together. And then here's the books. So got Excalibur 2nd print, signed by Alan Davis. I got a newsstand Excalibur 51, signed by Alan Davis. There's the Mike Grell Star Slayer 2.
Nice.
The Kevin Maguire Justice League there. That's the ElfQuest, the Fantasy Quarterly number 2. Decent signatures there. Doesn't distract from the books. I'm super happy with that. There's the George Perez and Jim Starlin DC Comics Presents 26.
Right.
Nice.
Here's the Larry Hama. Again, look at that placement, right? Like it doesn't distract at all from the art.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy with those. So 2 of those. And there's the finished piece on the Secret Wars 2 number 5.
And did you say you did have the Larry Hama stuff CGC'd or not?
Yeah, all of these here. This is why I don't have them to show, which is why I wanted to show the photos. These are all, anything that's in, all of these are going to, they've all gone to CGC.
Nice.
What was the purpose of this whole yellow? I don't know. What is that?
So these you get from CGC. They're essentially, most people in the old days, what you would do is you'd put your blue tape around it, cut a hole into your comic book, so that you could get the signature placement that you want. Some people still do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
I was going to.
yeah, these are quite used. I mean, I use these a lot now. I've got magazine ones, and you just go up to the CGC booth and ask if you can grab them, and they'll give you a stack.
Really?
And then you just put your comics in, and they can open the flap and just sign the book, and then you can just submit them as is in these folders.
Mm-hmm.
I did
so
not
they're
know
really
that.
useful.
Some artists won't sign if they're in those, though.
Some of them don't. When I went to Al, he was like, I hate these things, but but some of them won't sign the books if they're even in the sort of blue, even if they're in those sort of box tapes, they'll want to take them out anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's less about these things and more about just they don't like signing the books or being told where to sign
They
it.
don't
Chris
like
Claremont,
being told where they're going to sign it. That's right.
yeah.
Which is stupid because it's your book and it's your prized possession. You should be able to say, this is going to make me the happiest having it right here. It's my book, I mean, I'm paying you to actually do this, and like it's an honor to have a signature. I want it. So
I don't understand what happened. I thought you had some Steranko books you were going to get signed.
Well, it's funny because this is a great lead-in, right? So there was some Steranko books, and you would have seen it on the new video where I went through and looked at them. None of them were in these yellow sleeves. None of them were presented. I submitted them on that Tuesday, on the
Friday.
Saturday.
Saturday.
I did it on the Saturday actually. Submitted on the Saturday. Following feedback from basically everyone that was there in terms of just being careful. The thing about the books that I had, those Nick Fury Agent of Shields were phenomenal condition. Like I've never seen books that quality before. I might see if I don't have the photos here, but I'll probably share them on a future live stream or when I unbox them. But they were certainly, everyone that saw them were blown away by the quality. So I was going to get them signed by Steranko. But then when we all got together and we started talking and I started hearing about, Jim's a great guy, but just be careful in terms of your books because certain things can happen. He's not known for his gentleness.
Right.
In terms of the books. And so just because they were so high grade, I just didn't want to take the risk. So I didn't get them. So they're submitted. They're in with CGC. So we'll see how they go. But yeah, I mean, that was why I didn't decide to go with Steranko in the end. And, and Ben, you've probably got a story on that one maybe. And
yeah, I mean, it's he's just like last year. He was the only person that I was intent on having sign for me because he was my childhood favorite. And so I had him sign last year and he was, I noticed he was a little rough, but I think, as time goes on, people just don't recognize their own habits as much as they may have when they were, earlier on in their careers. And,
right.
and I definitely don't want to be disparaging towards him because he is, my absolute favorite Silver Age artist. And it's been an honor to meet him twice, but it was, I expect the long waits because I know he's a storyteller and he's very passionate about that. And they're amazing stories. Like who doesn't want to sit there and listen to their hero, tell the awesome stories about way back in the day and how they got, crapped on so badly by Marvel and, all the stuff. But, while he is telling these stories, he's very animated. So if he's got your book in his hand, he gestures a lot with his hands and he'll sit there and like shake it around or smack his hand down on it. And it's just like, it's a little, it just makes me nervous because my stuff was as high grade as I could have gotten it. And the majority of it was childhood stuff that I just had forever. But one book I invested in heavily to bring to him this year and spent a lot of time looking for a nice clean copy and spent several days cleaning and pressing it myself. And that was the book that he was the hardest on,
Wow.
So I ended up, all these books that I cleaned and pressed myself, I ended up, when I submitted them to CGC, feeling kind of railroaded into submitting them to CCS first and having them
press it.
Probably a total waste of money, but I just didn't feel good because I saw visible wrinkles and things that weren't there when I sat them down on his table. And I feel terrible saying that, but it's also just kind of a cautionary thing for anyone who would like to have him sign. I mean, it's a fantastic experience, but just be aware that it's a thing that any artist signing your book could potentially damage your book a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you don't normally see it, but as I say, that it scared me off a bit. I'd rather just submit it. And the thing is, I've got a few Steranko signatures on other things. What is interesting is I got this Foom poster from him last year, I think.
Nice.
So, I'm going to frame this at some point, but just getting Steranko to sign that is fantastic.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, look, he's as you say, he's a great guy. Really funny. I was with a witness and we went around the tables. Basically the way CGC were doing witnessing this year, which was, let's be frank, there wasn't enough witnesses.
There
at
were
all. So they were like basically getting clusters of people and then going around tables and making, there's one in particular. And it was funny, this person, this witness put Steranko, I think, number 3rd in order because they were that was the route that they were taking.
Yeah. And
I'm sitting there going, you realize that the Steranko queue is going to take an hour and a half, even if there's only 3 people in that queue, because Jim's going to want to talk to everybody and we'll spend hours. So we got there, started queuing, and we were 5 minutes into the wait or 10 minutes into the wait. And it got to the point where the witness said to the team that the other people I was with saying, we'll come back. I'll go and get him to get his book signed and we'll come back. So now I went off. We went and got Wendy and Richard Peeney signing Fantasy Quarterly. We came back. Nothing had changed. The guys were in the same spot.
Right.
They're still talking to this young couple. Yeah. And so I said, we'll just go off and get Mike Grell's signature. So we wandered off. It took about like 5-10 minutes. Got Mike Grell's signature. Walked on back. You can guess it. No movement whatsoever. And I'm like going, I've got one more book to sign. So then we went off all the way to the other side of the talk. This is when we got the Jim Shooter one. Went all the way to the other side because Jim was on the exact opposite side of the whole hallway, and that place is big. So we went all the way there, got the book signed by Jim. Nice 5-10 minute chat with Jim. Walked all the way back, still in the same space with the one couple he's been talking to. So he's been there for about 30 minutes talking to this one couple. It's absolutely brilliant, but it's not workable if you're doing sort of sketchy signatures, etc. So
no,
I mean, I understand if you're doing remarks for somebody, if you've got that time, but he, like I said, he's a storyteller, and I knew that from last year. And last year, I didn't even I grabbed a witness the minute I walked in on Friday and ran up there, but his line was already 20-30 people long, and I was just like. Everyone told me to get comfortable, and this year I ran to the CGC booth to get my witness, stood there for 45 minutes because, like you said, it was just it was a mess on day one, and I don't know how it progressed throughout the weekend, but day one was everyone was trying to get their sea legs, And so I stood there for 45 and I was like, I'm hosed, this is what I'm doing today is getting Jim Steranko.
Right. And then on top of that, you get the bad news of the book.
Do you think he does that to sign less? I'm always curious about that.
Well, maybe because I grabbed my witness and we hoofed it over to his and I was 3rd in line on Friday. I was the 3rd person, and I stood there for 2.5 hours before I got to him.
Wow.
He went through 2 people for 2.5 hours, and then he signed my 7 books in about 3 minutes and talked to me for an hour. So I was all in all with Jim Steranko was more than half the day, which I was already prepared for and fine with. But in my mind, I was like 3rd in line. This is going to be great, but it was...
I mean, I know his signature is, it's great to get him and everything, but I think he does it so they doesn't have to do as many. I really do. I mean, it's great. You want to tell stories of old. I talked to, but I don't believe in any more than a 10-minute conversation. I talked to Shooter for 10 minutes at Baltimore. I talked to Al Milgram for 10 minutes because you know what? There are other people behind me.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be inconsiderate. And I would just say, well, thanks for the story. I remember because Al was still going. And I was like, you know what? Thanks for the story, Mr. Milgram. I appreciate it. I'm going to let this guy go next because, and he was like, oh yeah. I mean, he was totally understanding, but
Sure.
I don't think that's what Steranko does. I think he's smart. He says, you know what? I'll just get 10 and I'll do 10 and then I'll just take an hour with each one and I'm done for the day, or 8. I mean, I can't
he's
fathom
making
it.
good money off of them, and you
I
know,
don't think.
I think you're right. Is that he probably knows like what he has to. I think they all probably do. You know what their comfortable number is
Sure.
bringing in each day, and I mean it's their livelihood. That only makes sense to me. But
yeah. We've got Bianchi 1885 had a drink with Shooter at the bar at the West. What a gentleman!
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a few of those when we were there on the Thursday night. We saw a few. I saw Al Milgram. I think I saw Starlin. Scotty Young was there. Jim Shooter was there.
Yeah.
Alan Davis was there. So, I mean, you can actually enjoy yourself in the evenings just hanging out with these people. So,
yeah, that seemed to be the hot spot
doesn't make me any. You know what? I stayed there twice, but this year we stayed down the street and I was fine with it.
Yeah, I was too.
I mean, if I can get a hotel at a better price, I'm always going to go. You know, as long as I'm not out at the airport. I think that was a little much. I wouldn't have done what Nominee did.
That was crazy.
You know, I was literally a block down, and you know, we had a suite, and I was fine with it.
I don't know about you, Jim, but I still went to the Westin and ate and drank and hung out.
Well, I mean, we went up there and drank. I mean, I didn't eat any breakfast there or anything.
No, I didn't either. But I mean, I had dinner with everybody up there Saturday, and I was like, yeah, I don't need to pay for the room, and I can just.
I would have liked the breakfasts. I think that's the thing, because I stayed at the JW and I liked the JW, but I've never stayed at the Westin at Charlotte at Hero for Heroes. So I might do it next year, because I think that's the one, because you get so many people walking in. I remember the group, everyone was talking about, oh, we've just got blah, blah, blah walked in, and oh, here's Scotty Young eating his bacon. It's like, you know, fantastic stuff.
But you're not sitting there eating it with him. You're not having a conversation with the man. You're over here at your table. He's over your table. You know, it'd be different if I was like, hey, Scotty, move over and we'll sit here and we're going to chat today about the con that's coming up, you know?
Well, let's talk about your 15 grand of piece of art that went to the art auction. That's amazing. How did you do that? It's like, what?
That's I'm going to be honest. I think that's his con. I really do. I think he's established himself as, this is my con. This is where I do the most, you know, and there are people there that buy his art every year.
Yeah. Exactly.
How much is a commission from him though? Because I think that's the thing. I mean, this was my challenge with the art auction. Is it's for a great cause, sure, but it could, like, a lot of those pieces of work you can get a commission done, and you probably end up with the same or better, right?
You know, I mean, like DJ was saying that, you know, that Hulk piece, the Hulk head, he was all about trying to get that, but when he saw where it was going, he was like, I've already talked to the guy. I'm going to get a commission from him, and I'm going to get it for 10 times less.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you go into that knowing that what it is to raise money for, you know, this group and that group and Heroes Initiative. It's part of it's the money's chopped up for many different things, but at the end of the day, I mean, it is a charity auction, so they expect you to kind of bid it up. And I just wish they would get some people that knew how to run an auction.
Yeah, that was the worst piece. They're like, they just need to get a real auctioneer in there, because they lost control of the room several times.
Yeah, and they it's like they would go like this. They would go, okay, yeah, we're just going to start this at 100, but then they would go and go, okay, we're going to start this one at 500. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It made no sense. Yeah.
What's the difference?
They knew they were going to get the good prices. So
yeah. So
we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can go get that video made and show some of the pieces, because the work was amazing though.
There was some great,
really good pieces.
There was some phenomenal.
There was some really good stuff. That Nightcrawler was phenomenal. But I looked at my wife and said, that's going to go for like probably 2,000. And she's like, but is it worth that? I'm like, no, you can get a commission for way less than that. You just have to go to the artist.
Yeah.
But this is a charity, so be prepared. They're going to bid it up.
I was talking to Poke and Joe about this, right? And I didn't realize that in the US you can claim that as tax, right? Like it's a tax, because it's a charity.
You can you can put it as a contribution but you need to make sure you have all the paperwork. Yeah, it's no different than like when you donate X amount of dollars to American Cancer Society.
Yeah,
that's tax free. The church, whatever, they're allowing you to take so much off. Yeah, but so also how you file.
So it's funny because because this is the other thing that I was like sitting there going, I'd love to have bid and put some money in for charity, but in Australia, my understanding is that whilst if you give like just a cash donation, that's deductible, but if you buy something, it's not. It's still you can't do it. Yeah, so really? that was my dilemma. I'm like, I'd love to bid on some of this stuff, but I'm not going to get a tax benefit out of it. So
sure. Hey, Bob, that's somebody I would have liked to have hung out with more.
Yeah, Bob, we didn't see enough of. So it's good to see you, mate. I'll tell you what was interesting. My video I posted yesterday. Ben, you're in it, and I literally didn't realize it until I went through the editing. And you were talking about the signature series earlier, just in terms of waiting. I've got you in the queue at 9:30, waiting for your witness.
Was that like?
Yeah, and then there's some guy next. I don't know who it is. There was some guy with you, and they recognized me, and it was the first time anyone's recognized me as a YouTuber, and was just like, "Oh, still only 35 cents." And then I walked around to get some of the books submitted and stuff, but I missed you, and then saw you in there, but didn't get enough footage to be able to sort of call you out. So
I saw standing in the drop-off line, like DJ Links and I believe Bubs and somebody. I think it was Bubs and maybe Remy was there. I can't remember, but DJ was just kept like around me. Let's go.
I have a question about that too. The whole witness thing. How does one become a witness?
I don't know. I've talked to them before, and
I don't think it takes anything. I think weren't they like letting people come up and say, "Hey"? I think they were paying people actually rather well.
Yeah.
From what? Yeah, I think you're the one that told me that, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, they were paying people. They put a call out, I think, on the Saturday for sure.
Well, you know who is a witness? Big
CJ.
Lion Cat.
BLC.
Yeah, Big Lion Cat was down there, and he said, "I'm not doing that this year. I'm not going to Heroes Con to do witness signatures. I'm here for me.
You'll burn up
But I just thought that was interesting because I thought, you know what, you could go if you could get there and say, you know what, I'm willing to do this day, like for the most part, I mean, you could even say I'll do half the day. Like my Friday was submitting, I got that one, and that one submitted first thing in the morning on Friday. I got those 3 submitted just I wanted to try the slabbing process at the con. And then I went to each artist, and then I just started hunting. But you know what? I would have been willing to go and say, hey, I'll work the rest of the day to be a witness. If I'm getting paid, especially, and I would sit there with that person until they got their signature. I'm just curious. I'm going to dig into that because that's not a bad deal.
Yeah. I tell you what was really, I spoke to CJ about this, and he was saying, like, because he obviously does it. It's good because you get to sit down with the creators whilst they're doing the signings, right? Yeah. So you get to have conversations with them. They get to know you a bit better. So that's one of the benefits. One of the pitfalls, though, is what you described, Ben, around Steranko. That poor witness was basically, she was moving left to right in terms of her foot because she was over standing up. Like she'd been doing it all day. So it's hard on the feet.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons.
Mm.
So
Yeah, Izzy
I'd be
might. See, I don't know the whole deal, Izzy, but Izzy brings up a good point. It's a job. It's not a choice of when you witness. Now, I know that BLC said he was definitely not witnessing this con, so you definitely can tell him what cons you want to witness. But yeah, I guess, and of course you can't witness yourself.
Can't
No
witness
kidding.
yourself. No way.
That's kind of ridiculous.
You
But
can certify your art and
I was
send it in.
there.
I know.
I was there. I could touch myself. I knew that.
Uh,
Show some stuff, Ben.
Yeah,
Put
it's
Ben
your turn, man.
in the big seat. Show some of that stuff you
Let me
got.
move you in. Let's get this sorted.
I got
Big
this.
Hold on. Let him embiggen you. Hit the one with the big screen and the two little ones beside it. There you go.
There you go. See? Nailed it.
Nice.
Picked up that from Short Boxed, and they they worked with me on the price a little bit, which this is one I had forever, and then sold it 10 years ago or so, and
yeah,
I thought it was actually just a nice looking copy, and it's all white pages, so
it's a beautiful cover. I love that
Yeah.
cover.
yeah. First black
Still
cat.
don't own that yet. I'm looking for that one.
Are you? Yeah, I was. I kind of that was a hard one to sell, and I thought about it for a very long time afterwards. I got the Star Wars number 7. Nice. I got a few
like that.
Star Wars slabs, and these I got by trading some 3 slabs that I took there with me.
Can you show me that one again? That's the first Jackson, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So I know George Lucas hated that rabbit, but
Yeah,
I love that. I love that character.
This is the first expanded universe story, so it's after the
When's
the
Jackson?
original
Then? Is he in 8?
First appearance of Crimson Jack and Jolly, I believe, is
Right, so that's that one, and then I think the next one is when they do the introduction of the characters, right?
Yes, because since that was issue 7, this is 9.
Mhm.
9.
And it says Jackson appearance, so 8 has to be his first appearance.
8. I'll have to. I've got it in one of those original 3 packs.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still haven't opened it.
Yeah. I have a 1 through 3 in the Whitman pack that's unopened that I've had since I was a little kid.
Hey, Norman.
Hey, there you go.
And number 10.
So, yeah, I like that cover.
Awesome. Those are great.
Already had all 3 of those, but my raw copies were not that nice. So
yeah.
I brought some stuff to trade, and this guy just had all 3 of them sitting there, and I said, yeah.
Now, as far as the trading goes, because I was listening to the Comic Crew guys, and somebody asked that question in the chat, and I responded yes, and actually said, my buddy Ben traded some books, but I'm curious about that whole how that whole process went down, because I feel like I never know if this is a good. I would have that feeling of, am I getting a good trade here? Yes, this is the book I want, but if I trade this slab and like 4 others for this one slab, is the value there and so forth?
Yeah.
So
I think I did look up the fair market value on them on cover price.
Okay.
And looked at a bunch of the last sales, and I wrote down my bottom number of what I'd be willing to get rid of it for in trade or cash. Yeah. My highest number I would ask.
Okay.
Which was fair market value.
And was that with a deal? That was with dealers, right? Like you just fishing around with the dealers and saying, "I want to trade this for this."
Yeah, and honestly, because Mark from Legion and DJ and all them said, bring books you don't want, because those are currency too, and it never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
So, I just kind of winged it this year and said, here's 3 slabs out of my slab box of sale slabs, and they're desirable. They're keys. They're ones I have higher grades of already. And so, and they're books that most likely I didn't pay anything for, or paid 60-cent cover price on back in the day.
Yeah,
so there was really no money lost except for what I paid to have them graded. So
yeah,
Right.
I mean, that's the point Bob's making. It's more about what you got in the book,
Right.
more than the fair market value, right?
Yeah.
Exactly right. So
yeah,
if I've only got the $25 in the grading or whatever, then even if it's a $110 book, it's I don't have an emotional attachment to it, so I'd rather use it for that currency and get something that I want in my collection.
There you go.
I want to do more. I'm toying with a trade, almost like a trade show or a swap meet or something like that, where
That would be
we
cool.
all come on. I've got a load that I'd want. I'm thinking of selling, but then equally, I want to use them. To your point, Ben, as like currency if I can, to be able to get other books that I'm looking for. I think I took a Werewolf by Night 32 once to. I can't remember if it was one of the cons last year. And when I did try and make a trade, or at least sort of, get the dollar value, they were way under what.
Yeah, and that's what I often wonder is if they're like, they're going to say, okay, let's say you bought this slab and you paid 800, okay, and you go up to them and you say, this is what I'm looking for, and they go, the best we're going to do is 4.
Yeah.
That doesn't, I don't see, because even though that slab could be selling right now for 1,200, they want the most money they can make. So it comes down to if you can get them to the price that you paid for it.
So yeah, I would say the first 10 booths I asked, you guys doing any trades? They were like, no trades. No, we don't want more books. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So when I did find the people I traded with, it was honestly the first booth that said yes. And the old man who was running the booth said, I gave him my spiel about what I wanted and blah, blah, blah. And he said, these aren't my kind of books.
Yeah.
He said, these are my son's kind of books. And he's standing right there. So I'm going to have you talk to him. Right. And his son was, probably 10 years younger than me, 20 years younger maybe. But I could see that when he saw the books I had, he was much more interested in them.
Right.
These.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think I want to do more trades with the community rather than necessarily with the dealers, I think. Because exactly that's the problem where you're going to get stuck with, your book is not going to get the value you want
You'll trade dollar for dollar with a community member.
Yeah, that's my point. Dollar for dollar, it's a much better idea, right? Because and actually you then help. Like talking to everyone this weekend or last weekend was so good because you get to see what everybody's looking for. Like I just got off a chat with Jim around some of the books he's still looking for. Like I'll dig through what I've got and work something out and send it across. So it's nice to be able to find stuff out. I got a heap of books for Mad Spidey, not at the con, but at a comic book store in Dallas, which I'm sending it across. So
like Dave, Ben and I are in this chat on Instagram that we've been in for like, I don't know what, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And one of the guys started showing his sketch books, shot photos, and I really fell in love. And it's not a key or anything; it's just a Firestar book or Firestorm book, and but the remark on it just looked. I was just like, man, I'd love to have that. He's like, let's do a trade. So he sent me a list in the on my phone of what I said, I'm going to Heroes Con. They got every book in the world there. And so he sent me a list and I was able to find, this was probably one of the cleanest copies I could find of the first Hawk and Dove.
Hawk and Dove.
Yeah. So, and I know this person, he's already said to me, what I'm going to send other stuff besides that book.
He will.
And I know he will because you know him too. So I'm like sitting
He's
over
an
here.
amazing guy.
I'm sitting over here thinking, oh my God, what? But then he sent me, and I didn't know you could do this. I have to figure out how to do it. But he sent me his CLZ to my phone.
Yeah, you can share your database with people. Yeah.
I never knew that. And I looked at it, was like, this guy has like 3 times more comics than me.
He's got
I'm going to be here forever looking at this thing.
Yeah.
But
I got lost in this before too.
You know who it is. But
I haven't got on CL. I need to do CLZ. I've got everything in Wacom for some reason, which works for me.
I love it. I
it's simplified on everything. Yeah. Sure.
It really works for me. I mean, I can sort of go. I've got my want list and I've got my full list.
Right.
But yeah, I need to switch across to C. I need to run both concurrently, but as I say, it's a lot of work. If there was just one single database, you could throw it all in and it just populate every single one.
Right.
That'd be useful.
Yeah.
It's an idea for an app there. I might have to do it.
I'll just show a couple more things and just
we've got Trev in, but Trev makes an appearance. Unfortunately, poor old Trevor wasn't able to make the show very much. I caught up with him right at the end. I got one photo with him.
Yeah,
I'm glad you did. Yeah,
so it was good to catch up with him. But as I say, poor guy, like literally gets all the way there and gets sick and then can't even come to the show. So
that was pretty heartbreaking for.
All right, show us what you got.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna make it big again.
Big.
All right.
Make him big.
Yeah, we need to see this one. Look at that.
I picked up the big premiere issue there.
What's the grade? I can't see.
102. It's a 5.0.
5. That's great.
Yep. And that was a fantastic deal. And also a book I never owned, and I don't know why I didn't collect Hulk comic books as a kid. I was obsessed with them.
It's on my that's on my wish list. I haven't got that one yet.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that and pick that up.
That's a great book. By the way, before you go on,
sure.
I saw your video, like looking at your video and looking behind you. I was blown away by just how big that. Like, it feels like you're in a convention center anyway.
This is man cave, Dave.
It is more than a man cave. It's a man villa.
I just built it. Yeah. I have to see all the boxes are still on the floor, so I'm cabinetry is my main hurdle. With countertops around the room, but that's a huge.
That's my dream. Ben, you've got like the room. You got more floor space. If I had that, I'd be like, oh, that's perfect.
It goes back around the corner there too for a ways, and I have my whole cleaning and pressing kind of station set up over there.
Very good.
Yeah,
look at that floor, Dave. That floor is phenomenal.
Exactly. Look at it. It's just stunning. That was one thing I noticed when I saw the first video. I was like looking at. I wasn't paying too much attention to the book. I'm too busy going, what? How many drawers has he got?
One of my friends who actually lives local here and is a comic book collector. He said, "What comic book store are you in?" And I said, "Ben Parker Comics."
I'm in mine.
He said, "I need to start shopping there."
The only thing we need to do is when are you going to do? So you've just recently moved in there, right?
Yeah. So
I'm assuming that you're going to do like I did, which is just fill that with the wall space.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My wife is very upset that I have not put anything on the walls in here yet. It's insane. She came in here with a screwdriver and she was like, "I'm putting some shit on the walls." Sorry. She was like, "I'm done with this," and I was like, "No, you have no authority here."
Rob's here, mate. Let's get some warehouse racking in there.
Yeah, I mean, for real. So
sorry,
my big hunt outside of the Straco stuff was some low number X-Men, which I'm just trying to wrap up the whole volume 1 of that, and I'm incredibly close. So I was walking around with Evil's Comics,
Yeah.
old Mike, and we were hunting for this, and I think he might have even pointed it out, and I was like, yeah, I'll take a look at that. And definitely
First Mimic, right?
What's that?
Is it the first Mimic?
Yeah. And I did not pay that price for it.
I don't think anybody does.
One thing you should always know about going to conventions is that they always have some wiggle room, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I mean,
especially if you're paying cash.
Yeah. So next, I got these next two at the same booth. They were just sitting side by side, and I said, "Oh, I need both of those." So there's a 18.
That's beautiful.
Which, yeah, I mean, it really is. There's, some little whatever to be expected stuff on the cover.
Right, a little foxing or something.
Yeah.
I mean, stub corners. I mean, look at the age of the book, for crying out loud.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they were just sharp enough that I was, and I was able to.
That's 15, right?
This is 15.
I'm missing that one. I've got 14 and 16. It's the one I'm missing.
Really?
I don't ever see that one shown a lot.
Well, this was on my list of what I needed to find at the convention.
Nice.
So I was going around and I was like, I need 15, 18, 19, and I don't know if you can see it right there. Yeah. I had one coming in the mail that I had forgotten to take off my list. So I have a graded 15 that was here when I got home. And I was like, Jesus, I got to save that money.
But maybe, hold on, maybe this is an opportunity for an Instagram trade. Did you hear the story, Dave?
No,
Are you listening?
Yeah.
Get the slab.
Exactly.
Get the slab.
Get the slab.
Show him the slab. It's right behind you there.
I'll show you the slab. I would trade the raw, though.
Yeah, I understand, but show him what he just said, that slab came in while we were at Heroes. He forgot he had bought it.
Oh, where? Oh, so you've got that. What's that one? This is
15.
It's 15.
So why have you got two then? You just bought one and you forgot.
He forgot.
I forgot to take it off my hunting list for Heroes Con. And so when I got there, I was in full panic mode saying, I got to go get these books before somebody else does. And I need that one, that one, that one, that one. And I just got them all. And then when I got home, this was waiting for me. And I was like, geez.
What's your preference? Is it the graded one or the raw one?
I think overall it's the raw one. But
it's the raw one.
But for all intents and purposes, it's the graded one when it comes to this room because, I'm going for 1 through 10 at least in slabs so I can display them on my slab wall.
Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, raw is
Richard's like, let's make a live trade.
We'll have a look. Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll send you a list. I've got a lot. Literally, my wife's going through at the moment, and just her new role is to basically catalog all the books that are over, not outside the PC, just basically everything that's sort of. So I've got a list. I'll pull the list together and just send it across. There's too many to mention. There's some interesting ones in there, like some really, really big keys, but there's a whole bunch of Moon Knight ones and things like that.
Oh, nice, yeah.
But
can we get your wife in contact with my wife, because I could really use the help too.
Yes.
All right, last book I'll show is the one that I was hunting really the most on the floor, and that's X-Men 9. And
I love that cover.
That's such a good book.
It's in really nice shape, and long story short, somebody had the same price on it, and it was just beat to hell, and I went a few feet over and found this beautiful copy for the same price and talked them down $50. So
I mean,
it was a win.
Why not?
Yep. Excellent con. That was the best haul out of
That's another one.
Year.
That's another one I was going to ask you. So I just got the Fantastic Four and X-Men crossover one as well. So those are the two that are the ones are you looking for that one as well, or have you got that one?
What number is that? If it's not number 1,
it's FF, I think, from memory.
Fantastic Four crossover with X-Men.
I think it's something like 15 or something.
Yeah, I do not have
or
any.
Is it X-Men? I'm trying to think if it's X-Men. I think it's FF for sure.
Yeah.
It's not 12 because that's the Hulk. Is it 14? Oh, it'll come to me. It's one of that. But yeah, it's an early FF and it's got the X-Men in there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's another good one. If you like that X-Men Avengers one, X-Men FF is a good one to do.
And honestly, once I complete Volume 1 of X-Men, that's probably the kind of books that I'm going to be going after, is the crossover stuff with them, because they were just the title that I started everything for me, along with ElfQuest. Those two titles were ElfQuest in the original graphic novel form. But yeah.
You mean the one? Yeah, because that's the
books.
I got. I've got number 5 spare. Yeah, because I already owned a copy of number 5, but I don't think that's necessarily. They're expensive in high grade, but they're not expensive normally.
Yeah.
Before we go, I got a couple that didn't make the cut that I wanted to show.
Nice.
So this one did not make the mark. It did not get signed by Kubert. Major reason is he disappeared on the second day. He was finished signing. The other problem with this, it's got a spine tick here and something going on in the bottom corner. So I just felt I'll just keep it raw. I'll just enjoy the book and not get it signed.
There you go.
So that's that one. So that it's I don't grade everything. And then you said something to me when we were doing the video about like you don't have big books like you, Dave, which there's a lot of stuff that I buy that's not big books. So I picked this up from Metropolis, and there's a story on Metropolis which I'll go to in another video. But I bought up all the last remaining Susha News Pedigree raw books that I've been looking for. This one came in it cost me I think $9, but just follows on with my Judge Dredd fandom. But this, I'm looking forward to getting that in a pedigree label. They say it's a 9.6, so hopefully I'll get that graded at San Diego Comic-Con but I ran out of time getting that one submitted. But I wanted to show these. Those are the last 2 books I just hadn't been able to get graded at the show.
Those are cool.
Yeah,
they're good. Not too bad. All right. Well, we're how far in? It's like an hour and 10. So I wanted to thank you both for joining today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've loved hanging out with you at Heroes and the rest of the crew, who most of them were in the chat. I'm going to put links to everyone's YouTube channels in the main body of the video. So if you get a chance, please go and check out all of these wonderful people and their channels. Maybe if you want to just give a quick overview of what you've got going on this week before we go, and then maybe we'll close it out. But maybe Ben, if you want to go first.
Yeah, mine's short and sweet. I mean, my YouTube channel is very wet behind the ears still, so I'm kind of starting off slow, and I'm just going to do some incredibly exciting to me unboxings this week, and I'll probably just post some videos on my YouTube channel without going live just yet. But I'm also working on my intro and just some images and things like people like to mix into their things, like you're still only 35 cents thing up there. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah. Well, if you need any pointers or help, just reach out, because it's
cool.
Yeah, there's a few tools that you can use that make it a lot easier. And we could just have Digger tell us how to use StreamYard.
Exactly.
Hey, trust me, it took me a minute. I don't go live all the time, but I got a tutorial from Chris the Comic Vet on how to work it. So
Excellent. Yeah.
It's excellent.
But I don't know everything. Yeah.
All right, Digger, you'll go.
Got it.
What are you got up to?
I have when I get off here tonight before it gets too late, I've got to make a thumbnail, but I'll have a mail call on Monday. It's just basically my wins from Only Slabs, and I won a piece of original art when Naman was doing the Asian Pacific Artist Month. I won a piece from Lock Win, and
Right.
so I'm mixing the two together as one big video and so forth. So,
Oh, good.
Excellent.
No, that sounds excellent. I'm any original art I'd love to catch up and see anyway, but hopefully
All right.
no more reprints coming through for you.
No more reprints.
That's what we don't want to
Only
see.
the real deal.
Just the real thing. Yeah.
Oh, I do have one more thing that I just set up
Go for it.
today or yesterday. I'm gonna be on Only Slabs September 7th. So
Nice. Awesome. That's
that's
having done that myself. I love that's one of the best shows.
it is.
Um,
Yeah, it's fun. I've done it a couple of times, and I reached out to Rob and said, look, I've over since the last time I was on there, I've gotten quite a few slabs, and I'd love to come on again. So
Love
that's
it. Love it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to I'm hoping same as you to do a second one at some point, but
That'd be cool. Yeah.
a little bit longer to go, I think. But great. All right, look, really good to see you both. Glad you got back from Heroes Con well. Look forward to seeing the content. For everyone out there, if you haven't already, the usual stuff. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell for future content. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and please go to Ben and Digger Jim's YouTube channels and subscribe there as well. Give them some praise and follow their videos.
Thank you.
All right, guys, take care of yourselves, and thank you again for joining. We'll see you soon.
Dave.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.